YouTube fans, here again. Hope you can hear my voice, I just fussed the train. But anyway, where am I? Oh yeah, now remember I've got about the 80s films and the 80s marathons, why not this one? The film in my eyes that started Arnie's in his action, I'm else is weird right offence there, action career, that being Job the Barbarian. Say it again, Job the Barbarian. Now, this originally was taken off comic books, and I think the difference between the comic books, there was more traffic, there was more fire, there was a lot more heads getting cut off, and so on. And it's kind of the same here, you don't go with the router here with Job the Barbarian, because I do like Job the Barbarian, but the only thing what would me to boo is I felt this would have made it a bit like, how can I put it, a bit like Soul Done Assassin. If everyone's never seen Soul Done Assassin, you know I did a review on it. You got arms getting cut off, you got heads getting cut off, you got people get their heads cut in half, you got blood shooting out over the top, blood all over the place. Oh, it's beautiful, just beautiful. But you don't really see it until the Barbarian. It's like they softened out on it, and I felt they should have done that. They should have done. But I still like it. I still like what it is. You got a great bit of epic music. You got like Survivor, someone making a sword. So I do actually like the opening. And it starts off, you've got this old guy, big muscles, big raping muscles, talking to this little boy. You later find out it's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, being dubbed the Barbarian. You've got these evil people, the raid of Phoenix, they killed the dad who's telling the story to the lad. I love the story though, it's next to these towels, and he's talking about strength and muscle and all this. And he gets killed, the father, and I think the mother gets beheaded. Which is one of another day actors. You remember the guy did the voice of Darth Vader? You know what I'm on about. He puts it in sort of like a trance. If he's a good die, he isn't. Cuts a flipping head off. Again, I felt they should have shown it, but they didn't. And then you've got the idea Arnold Schwarzenegger, for some reason, he doesn't kill the boy. He takes him and dumps him as a gladiator. Now at the time, this was taken, like I say, of comic books, and they wanted to make it into a movie, right? They wanted to make it into a big epic movie. At the time, they was looking for a lot of weightlifters, because they felt a guy with big raping muscles would definitely go for that role. I suppose at the time, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger was making it big in the weightlifting. You know what I mean? He did the biography to stunned his man and all this. And, you know, he did Hercules. The less I talk about that, the better. Damn good comedy, even though it's not supposed to be a comedy. But he definitely got one. The only good thing that come out of Hercules in New York, without joking, the only good thing that come out of that was it launched in this, Job the Barbarian. So, like I said, he's as a slave, you've got the ideas on this meal, and then it shows him now as the older one, being our mate Arnie. They have him as a tragedy, or he kills his warriors, and he sort of wins his freedom. But I just love to see where he says, we're going to rape the women and destroy the village. It's just the way he does it. It's definitely not Shakespearean actor, innit? It's kind of funny, he's had a bit of Shakespeare. It's just comes across being laughable. And because he had a Canadian accent, the way he says rape doesn't sound right. So it's supposed to be disturbing seeing that he says that, but it comes across being laughable. We're going to rape the women and we're going to destroy the village. You know, Dad do an Arnie accent there. Normally do a dud one, but that was terrible. I just love the way he said it. We're going to eat the women and we're going to destroy the village. And it's just that point, even now, I was like, oh God. But especially if you're going into it for muscles, action and adventure, you're definitely going to get it. You're definitely going to the early role of Arnie's. So they let Arnie off, he's running around, these dogs are chasing him, he manages to get out of dodge, he wins his freedom, and he finds his father's body, about being morbid, and he finds the sword, what his father had, and obviously he takes revenge. He takes revenge of what happened to his mum, and his father, and his all of his family getting wiped out by these scumbags. So it's a guy, it's a bit like a religious and that's it, and he's taking over with power, And he meets this warrior woman on the way, which funny enough appeared a couple of years later in Red Sonla. She was one that played the main villain in Red Sonla. But there's a love interest there, there's a bit of bonking, and he meets a wizard, and he meets people on the way. Long but old, I love to see where he's going through his thing, he fights this big snake, and that's something else I love about Job the Barbarian. even though Attack of the Titans was the last time we ever got to see the lots you're seeing stop motion, some of this does actually have stop motion in it. It has good practical effects in it, and that's what I love about Job the Barbarian. It has a lot, and I mean a lot, of stop motion and that. Because I love to see when he's fighting the snake, and the main villain, for some reason, that's his mate Anna. They have him on this wooden thing. Before they do that, they beat him up. And he's going on about strength and power, the main villain. And he says, "What's this? This come to me, child." And this girl just literally kills herself right in front of him. It generally shows he's someone you don't want to mess with. But then they stick him on this wooden thing, sort of like Jesus. How they got away with this, I don't know. He's bolted to a T. But he manages to get out, and you think he's dead, and these evil spirits are going to take Arnie, the warrior woman, says, "No, no, no." But then he manages to come back to life, of course, because it's still the Barbarian, and he wants to get his revenge. Halfway through the film, the girl does get killed, which is a bit sad. And but he sets some traps and he kills all the warrior knights. So he's going to get his epic revenge here. I love to see when he's a ghost of the woman. They sort of bring her back in the foil up 2 years later, being told the Destroyer, which, funny enough, came out roughly the same time when Future a Kill come out, even though it come out in '84. It's not bad in that one, but this one, you're going to do it more for a story. It does have a bit of that story of how he became, it's not a back down story, how he becomes Job the Barbarian, which I sort of like that. When you think about it, this is the sort of warrior film that launched a lot of spin-offs, whether it be Deathstalker, remember reviewing that? Whether it be the Beastmaster, and so on. They made loads, and I mean loads of these Dobrin, Destroy, Barbarian rip-offs. And this was the one what started it off. It was Job the Barbarian. So he goes to this thing. Our evil baddie's finally to his magical powers again. Fails. This time he gets beheaded. Stands next to a tower of people. It's also our old Anna as a monologue. End of movie. And I love it. I love Job the Barbarian, you know what I mean? I know Stanton Vito, good actor, we all remember him in The Piece, in The Exorcist, and remember him as the one I remember reviewing being Dean State. Stanton Vito was in this, and there was a deleted scene in it where he gets brutally murdered, blood everywhere, and it's funny seeing because Stanton Vito, who's sadly no longer with us, may he rest, was talking about that scene and said because of the time it was too bloody, it was too violent, so they had to cut in and deleting the scene. You can see it on a deleted scene as an extra special feature in Job the Barbarian. But I always felt like I remember saying, one day I'll talk about deleted scenes. That's one I think they should put back in it because he was a king and he gets brutally killed and he sends Arnie on this mission. But that's a deleted scene where he actually gets killed. For people that never knew that. Again, like most films, there's a lot of deleted scenes that I felt should have been in the film, but sadly we'll never see the day of light. But I do like Job the Barbarian. It's like I say, it's taken off comic books, and it didn't mess about. I just felt it should have been a bit more bloodier, a bit more like Soldier and Assassin, arms and legs getting cut off. You know what I mean? You want to see it done a better way. What's Deathstalker, where the villain gets killed, he gets ripped to pieces, blood and guts everywhere. That is beautiful. Look at, how can I put it? Another film that come out the same day, and I've done 2 reviews on it. And I was erupted the very first time I've done it. That being The Sword and the Sorcerer. That doesn't ask about in the Blood and Guts apartment. But this, I just felt the dad had toned it down, and I felt it shouldn't have been. Should have seen Annie ripping arms off, like in Figgy, Tokurito. She was the party witch. Should have seen things like that. It would have been beautiful. But I still love it. I do think it's a classic. It launched a sequel 2 years later. You had the spin-off one called Red Sonla, that was also taken off a comic book. They did a remake. The less I talk about that, the happier. Other than that, though, it's a classic. That being Job the Barbarian in 1982. Then they launched Arna and his career in action films into them. Be smart, be safe, and I'll see you later for some more reviews and more things on the way.